Afternoon, folks. Happy Friday. This is the Manufactured Mind. Sitting here reflecting just on my process of recovery, coming up on 3 years now. As of September 1st will be 3 years. And I find myself keep reflecting back to the shift, the pivot, the pivotal point from active addiction to active recovery. And two things come to mind constantly: exhaustion and perspective. There comes a point, or came a point for me, where exhaustion makes effort inevitable. Exhaustion forced me to take action. And the perspective shift that came as a product of the exhaustion were the two driving forces that fundamentally shifted me. There was another variable too, but I'm not gonna talk about that one in this video. Talked about it before, but I just find that, the rock feeling of rock bottom, or just being at rock bottom, for example, the perspective shift that I had on that was, now, before this happened, my thinking on that was, oh, rock bottom means, you're a piece of shit failure. You have let everybody down, including yourself, and so on and so on. And I realized that that's a form of self-sabotage. I realized by me thinking that way and talking to myself that way, whether it be out loud or in my head, it is just gonna keep leading me down a dark path to fucking nowhere. And the perspective shift on rock bottom was also fundamental in the pivot into recovery, because I stopped looking at it as a bad thing. I started looking at it from a construction point of view. When you build a house, you have to lay the foundation first. And if you want a sturdy house, you have to have a solid foundation. That is exactly what rock bottom is. That's why it's called rock bottom. Rock is solid. Rock bottom is a solid foundation for you to rebuild upon. It is a clean slate. New beginnings. You only have one direction to go once you get to that point, and that is up, folks. And I'm beginning to realize that, or not beginning to, but I'm truly grasping the strength and courage that it takes for someone to make that pivot. For me, it was exhaustion and the perspective shift. And I guess you could say a little bit of, I used my research on what I was doing to myself with each substance as fear. I used that fear as fire to fuel the exhaustion or the action produced from the exhaustion. That's kind of the fear kept that action going. That action has continuously brought new perspectives over the course of the last 3 years. More perspectives than I have ever been able to see things from. It was a very one-track minded, blissfully ignorant, adopted belief pushing son of a bitch. Just stupid. Hearing one thing and running with it. And since these perspective shifts have started happening over the course of the last 3 years, man, I can't even begin to articulate the feeling I get when I realize that I am actively experiencing a perspective shift. It's better than any artificial high that I have ever felt in my entire life. So is breath work. The feeling I get from breath work trumps any fucking euphoric feeling that I've gotten from any man-made substance or drug. It's pretty amazing. But yeah, folks, I don't know that exhaustion and perspective shift is what will work for everybody, but I feel like that the exhaustion piece is definitely a common thing amongst many people in addiction. It's just whether or not that exhaustion pushes them in the right direction. And it can push them in the right direction if they allow it. Which is where the perspective shift comes in. You have to understand that in active addiction, your mind, your thinking, your actions, they are like a complete foreign invader to the vessel that you are residing in. Your body. Because I look back on addiction, it was 8 years I spent in active addiction. I cannot even fathom the person that I was in active addiction. It's like a foreign invader to me within my body. It blows my mind. It really does. I sit here and I think about it all the time. I'm like, dude, like, what the fuck were you thinking, bro? Like, just in fucking denial, self-destructing constantly on a daily basis, not giving a shit. It was almost like I turned my humanity off in regards to myself. Still cared about everybody else. Always have. I have a huge heart. Wear it on my fucking sleeve a little too much. But in regards to myself, just cut it off. Didn't care. Didn't think about anything. Didn't think about the harm I was doing to myself. Didn't think about the harm I was doing to others by product of harming myself by ingesting a bunch of these fucking stupid ass chemicals. Speedballing on a daily basis. Waking up and having a fucking cocktail of substances for breakfast. For lunch and dinner. For almost, not 2 years. It was about a year, a little over a year, folks. I literally ate nothing but Oreos. Oreos. They were the best tasting Oreos I had ever had in my entire life. They had never tasted like that. It was the drugs. The drugs changed the taste buds. Now, I go and try an Oreo, which, by the way, I would not encourage eating Oreos at all. I never was a sweet eating person. Never have been. The addictions. What they do to the brain. It changes a lot. And now, if I were to eat an Oreo, I'd spit that shit out. Because it tastes like it used to before the addiction phase. And so that last year of active addiction, I was eating, I ate more than just Oreos, but literally I was going to the store on a daily basis, folks, and getting a fucking pack of Oreos. Like, not a single, 6 cookie pack. Like, the 3 fucking rows of Oreos pack. And just demolishing them on a daily basis. It's fucking nuts. It's just crazy how all of that shit affects you, man, the drugs. And then, honestly, you could consider the Oreos a fucking drug. And just go watch my Manufactured Appetite episode about that. That'll tell you all about Nabisco. And it makes sense as to why they're so addictive, too. But, yeah, that exhaustion, folks. I'm really curious. I would love to somehow get people on board to voluntarily, commit to a study of just having a conversation with me, or even an interview on the podcast, even talking about what was the pivotal point for you from addiction to recovery. Was it a near-death experience? Was it exhaustion? Was it having kids? Because I really want to know if the exhaustion aspect is a common trend. Because I know that the exhaustion itself is a very common trend. But I want to know if the exhaustion is a pivotal point for more than just some people. That's the trend I'm looking for. The exhaustion and perspective shift of the mind and thinking as the pivotal point. I want to know if anybody else has had that experience coming into recovery, or to push them into recovery, rather. And if you are in active addiction, I'm gonna be honest, folks. There's not much that anybody can do for anybody that's in addiction. The only thing that you can do is lead by example and leave a trail of breadcrumbs behind you, so to speak, for them to pick up and hopefully follow your lead. You have to lead by example. Nobody's going to get out of addiction for anybody else other than themselves. And they have to come to terms with their mistakes. They have to hold themselves accountable. They have to admit that they need help. Now, help comes in many forms. Admitting that you need help is often a show of strength, quiet strength that nobody really talks about. Asking for help doesn't make you weak. Help could come in the form of just sharing, having somebody share their story and what worked for them. You could have that conversation with 10 different individuals who have successfully gotten out of addiction and into recovery, and take an aspect of each one of those conversations and convert them into your own method and apply to your process. If they don't work, they don't work. If you have to modify the method, that's fine. What works for one will not work for everybody else. But there are little aspects within each person's method that I think can be pulled from and put together and used as fuel if you talk to enough people who are actively out of addiction. And unfortunately, in active addiction, you're not around anybody that's in recovery. And I think that's a hard part about it too. Just because coming out of active addiction, no matter how close of friends you might be with the people who you may be using with, no matter how good of a person these people might be. I have people that I consider my brothers to this day that are still in active addiction, that I love dearly. But I had to put immense distance between myself and everybody that is remotely even close to drugs in any way, shape, or form. And that's where the solitude came into play. That's when I realized that the people that were in my corner, yes, a couple of them may have wanted to see me do better and be better, but they didn't have the capacity to tell me that I was taking it too far and that I needed to stop, because they themselves were doing the same thing. And, nobody wants to be a hypocrite. And I know that's not a reason to not, speak up. But if you do speak up to somebody in that specific scenario, I would encourage you both to say, okay, look, yeah, we both have a fucking problem. Let's fucking tackle this together. We know that we need support in recovery. Support system is fundamental. A positive support system. Not no Debbie Downers, not no fucking occasional the occasional candy flipper or alcoholic sipper, whatever. There is no dipping the toe in the water. Because once the toe touches the water, in addiction, the whole body follows. And the mind. So there is no dipping back into the shit. It's, you're either in it or you're out of it. And you know, I went to rehab one time, folks, and I was told in there, it was 25 of us. I was one of 2 people that were there voluntarily. Everybody else was there trying to get out of jail early or on some sort of court order. The gentleman there that told me, that came to speak there, that said, I think he said one. I think he said, everybody here, except for maybe one person, is going to leave here and relapse. I'll just be honest with you. He said, I've seen it over and over and over and over again. And that is what the data said at the time. This was back in like 2018, 2019, I think. The only time I've ever been to a rehab, by the way. Like an inpatient rehab. And it was trash. Absolute trash. It was a business model. Reoccurring patient. Reoccurring revenue. That's the model. They want you to keep coming back. Well, this guy doesn't fucking do that. So I took the most unconventional path. Solitude. And I fully embraced it. Fully embraced it. And I've sat in silence for days on end. Complete silence. Not ruminating. Not even meditating. Just sitting here in silence. Just to see if I can do it. I've done it a few times. I even done it once just recently. And you know, I know that sitting in silence is a very hard thing for some people to do, for a lot of people to do. It's unfortunate. Because if you could find the strength and courage to do it and sit with yourself, sit with your mistakes, not to self-sabotage yourself or beat yourself down, but to learn from your fucking mistakes, to go back in reflection, not to ruminate, but to learn. Learn. That is the reframing. That is the perspective shift. Look at failures as lessons. Find the lesson in every mistake, every failure, every reoccurring theme in your life. Because I can almost guarantee you that any reoccurring theme in your life is reoccurring because it is a mirror of something that you refuse to face within yourself. And it's going to continue to reoccur until you sit in silence long enough and actually face it. And what I mean by face it is I mean face it from the observer's perspective. In silence, in reflection. Just observe. Visually, in your mind, observe whatever past traumas or mistakes that you have made, anything that has a lesson to be taken from it, especially the reoccurring themes. Observe, in reflection, find the lesson, and once the lesson is found, then you have newly gained knowledge. Take that knowledge and apply it to action. And you've now just found wisdom. You take that knowledge gained from those lessons learned and apply it to yourself for change in a positive, for the better way. Then you have successfully turned knowledge into wisdom. Wisdom is only gained through applicable knowledge in the form of action. At least that's my interpretation of how you reach wisdom. You can't be taught wisdom. Wisdom only comes from lived experience and the lessons learned from the lived experience and then applied. So the lived experience, the lesson, and the application of the lesson in the form of change. That, my friends, is wisdom. But anyways, that's going to do it for today, folks. I didn't even mean to talk this long. I honestly just wanted to talk about what I talked about for like the first 2 minutes. But I always go off on fucking tangents, and everybody that knows me knows that. I info dump like a damn dump truck. Can't help it. I just like sharing what I know, man. Sharing my lived experiences. Because I know that it feels good at times to know that, you know, you might not be the only one that is struggled with these things. And I know there's somebody out there right now that's thinking that way. Thinking they're the only one. So it's all my hopes and dreams that somebody will be able to relate and maybe find some direction or comfort even, and knowing that, you know, hey, this guy's kind of experienced something that I'm going through right now. Maybe there's something to learn from it. Let me listen. Never hurts to listen, folks. Never hurts to listen. And never stop learning. The day you stop learning is the day that you start dying. I hope everybody has a good weekend. I do have an episode coming out this weekend. It is Addiction to Failure. A political relapse. and it is centered around the degenerate, spoiled Americans. The DSA. Have a good weekend, folks. This is the Manufactured Mind. The future always looks bright, just like PBD says. Peace out, folks.